Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Peteman Reviews. Today we are going to take our combiner Seacons, these are the commemorative G1 editions, and they will be merged to combine into the difficult to spell Piranacon. As we've said during this review, the Seacons are 16 members, they are target masters, and with the exception of Snap Trap and possibly Jawbreaker, they're pretty poor. In terms of form. However, this is where they come into their own and they form Piranacon, who's actually a pretty cool guy. Now, being a G1 combiner, Piranacon comes with a fair amount of combiner kibble. Here we are. So you just have to make sure you don't lose it. That said, his breastplate at least does have somewhere to go in that it forms part of Snap Trap when he's in turtle mode. When Snap Trap transforms into robot mode, there then is no place to put it, so you're back to the age-old making sure you don't lose your combiner kibble or you have a somewhat deformed Piranacon. Now the differences between the G1 and the G1 commemorative edition and the original G1 commemorative edition is minimal. It's more to do with colouring. So for example, there's a bit more chrome, particularly on the sword, than there is in the G1 thing. Some of the face is different. Piranacon's head himself is broadly the same. It's just the slight tones that are different. So for example, the pink or the magenta is slightly more pink, and the greens are slightly more aqua green. You'll also notice there's a subtle colour coding going on with the Seacons. Now we see them all together. So these guys are the legs, and as you can see, they're definitely more of a blue colour, whereas these are the arms, a bit more turquoisey green. Now I know he's a bit more of an exception with the amount of pink on him, which actually goes more to Snap Trap himself. Nautilator is actually not part of the Gestalt. Transforms Wiki says that this is because Nautilator is basically a klutz and it makes Piranacon slightly more effective. I can well believe it. However, with the exception of Snap Trap being Scramble City style combiners, they will all interchange. So you could make any one of these guys, obviously with the exception of Snap Trap, the Target Master gun. You don't have to. You can play around it and make it work as you wish. Okay, so let's start with the combiner mode. We'll just get Nautilator out of the way a bit so he doesn't get in the way for this. Start off with the feet. See, they're nice big chunky feet, which is good for stability. And we'll start with this guy first, Tentakill. He's just pathetic, isn't he? I'm sorry, but he's rubbish. Never mind. So, with all of these guys, with the Scramble City combiners, the head is one of the interconnecting joints. So we'll just put these back like this. They kind of almost are in full robot mode for this to work. The difference being that that's fully inserted like that, so it goes fully in like so rather than coming out. And that's it. I mean, you might just be able to get away with having the tentacles a bit further forward, but that's pretty much it. It's all peg and hole connections. Some are a little bit tighter than others, and it's good when they are because it means they go in. There we go. Scalor is next, exactly the same. So flip the tail fin down. You have the handle going back like that, with the tail fin, but it's like a handle. The head becomes the connector. You do need to just pull the fin out because the connection here is actually there. Just make sure these fins are out of the way and then get the arms out of the way like that. Same deal. That slots into there. There we go. So that is Piranacon's feet. We'll move to do a Snap Trap now. Obviously we need to do the main part of the body, and we might have to move the tentacles out of the way just to make sure there's enough room. So begin with by removing the breastplate. Put that to one side for the moment. Now, you can kind of already see that there's some connectors starting to appear, but what you need to do to begin with is to get these legs out of the way, as you would when he's transforming Snap Trap to robot mode, because you don't need them at all for Piranacon mode. It's the legs which form Piranacon, as you can see like that. So put them up like that so that they bend like that. That gives you hopefully enough space to then be able to connect it like that. I can see already we're going to have to move the tentacles back. That's a bit of a shame because it really just highlights the fact that these are robots. They're almost the wrong way round. The trouble is, if you go that way, you just got kibble on the back, which you don't really want. But never mind. You need the head to go up because that is where Piranacon's head would go. And then lastly, the hands. Doesn't quite feel right, does it? I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I do know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? Probably not. That is the connector there. It's fully on the arms. You see, slightly unusual. It makes sense because otherwise you'd have the hands. As you can see, this is just a mess like this. But this is where the breastplate comes into place. Breastplate actually transforms. So this goes up like that. So it actually goes on this way round. So you can see the Decepticon symbol, so it's up. And again, it's all chromed up. It looks really good. And on the back, you have two spokes which come out like this. You might notice these are exactly the same as the heads of the other guys. So you could potentially mount this as a target master. Why you would want to, I don't know, but hey, it's option, the versatility. The reason for these coming out, put it in shot, coming out like that is because they need to slit either side here. Like so. And that just hides some of the obvious parts that were snap trap, and some of the mess, that gives him a more powerful shape. And already that's looking a lot better. We'll put the head on as well while we're here. It literally just slots over the top. There we are. Suddenly that looks a lot better, a lot more demonic almost. So head straight into in there, and again on this side. That's that. That's pretty simple. And there we are. Now, Piranacon is short. He's actually in complete view there. You could, if you were feeling adventurous, extend the legs. They don't extend fully, so you do have to do a little bit of jigging like that. But to be honest, it makes next to no difference with the height. So you might as well have them fully in like that. It just makes sure that it's a bit more secure. You do have a little bit of movement with the legs, but not too much. Okay, so we're now going to go on to the arms. Start off with Seawing. Now the arms are broadly similar, but they are a little bit different. So I'm just going to get the feet of Seawing out of the way. Now this is where you need to use the extra head on Seawing, like so. Put those up so that it doesn't get in the way of the breastplate, and that's basically it. But before we attach him, I'm just going to put the arm. So because he's a left-handed, you put left hand in. There we go. Looks all right, doesn't it? And this goes in here. One problem is with Piranacon is because of where this is, this does get in the way of trying to move the arm. So you can put it all the way up like that. It looks a bit silly, but that is pretty much the only way to ratchet this round and then put it back down, which is a bit of a pest, to be perfectly honest. Piranacon is definitely a transformer that you want to combine and pose. If you try and move him, he's a bit fiddly, but never mind, we've got him in place now. Same deal here, except here you've got to put the head down to form that. Wing goes back, get these out of the way, and then this goes up and down because that's where you put the peg in. I'm just going to pop these like that so it's out of the way. And then the hand goes in like that. Same deal here, you want to slot him in, ratchet around. This one doesn't get caught quite as much, but it still does get caught. There we go, and then you can put that back down if you wish. We're almost there with Piranacon, but not quite. So we've got the sword. I'm going to pop in there. So I'm going to balance in there. No, I bet the sword's going to sit on this side, isn't it? Odd, isn't it? The sword only fits in one's hand. Never mind. It fits. That's the key thing, isn't it? Move him back a bit so you can see a bit more of the shot. And finally, poor old Nautilator. He's left out of the gestalt. He doesn't form part of him. For good reason, but he doesn't fit. So we now need to give him a home. Okay, so he has a lot of kibble on him, which we need to try to get out of the way as best we can. So we'll start off by putting that down there. So that's going to be the handle to hold the gun. We then are going to just extend the mouth out like that. With all the crab-like stuff and that, you can play around with it, or you could just leave it as it is. And in terms of guns, you could use his standard gun that he comes, the short grey one. But actually, I'm going to use the... Do you remember this part, which is the stand for the Target Master mode? And I said there, it looks like a gun. I think we're going to use this. There we go. See, it's quite a good gun. To give him a little bit more difference. And that sits in. And it is enough to drag Piranacon down. But the end here is just enough to allow it to fit in with the thing. So that's obviously why. I say the thing, I mean the fin hand, if that's what you want to call it. Okay, Target Master Piranacon. Pretty good, huh? Bit difficult to stand, so I will just drop him down the gun bit and actually rest it, so he doesn't fall over. But yeah, that's pretty good. Being a G1 combiner, his movement, his ability to ratchet, his arms ratchet up and down, which we've shown. Legs have limited movement. Head doesn't move. That was not uncommon. In fact, I say not uncommon. Every single G1 combiner was like this. They're great. They pose great. They look great, but they don't move at all. Never mind. So, how does it work? Remember we saying how short he is and how short the other guys are? We're comparing them against Silverstreak and Shrapnel. So how does Piranacon fare? Better. He's taller than them. Not perhaps hugely taller than them. But, do you know what? That doesn't look too bad, does it? I would expect him to be taller, but actually, at least he is taller than them, which is the key thing. The other thing is, in the G1 Marvel UK comics, you had a fight between Piranacon and Galvatron, and Piranacon came off pretty weak. Galvatron beat him very easily, and was actually almost shown to be the same height as Piranacon. Now, the G1 toy of Galvatron is probably a bit taller than Piranacon. But let's have a look at the Unique Toys one. Looks good, doesn't it? That is pretty much bang on the scale that they had in the Marvel UK comics, with Galvatron almost the same height as Piranacon. So, I'm sure that wasn't intended, but it's a little bit of a quirk, the fact that the third-party release of Toy World's Galvatron, or Mania King as they call him, is almost bang on the height with the G1 Piranacon as depicted in Marvel UK. It's a little quirk, but it's worth pointing out. And finally, a modern day combiner. So this is the Combiner Wars Unite Warriors variant of Menasor. And again, Menasor's not the tallest combiner out there, but he does tower over Piranacon. Now, Piranacon's not too bad there, but one thing that I think is worth emphasising, who's got sword envy here? But the sword is actually mostly of a similar height to Piranacon. Oh well. It's the way it is. I know it's a little bit unfair comparison. The Unite Warriors toys came out. It's probably something scary like 25 years afterwards. Maybe longer. It's pretty scary. So I know this is the commemorative edition and it's slightly more chrome, slightly different detail, slightly different colour scheme, but it's pretty true to the original one. And this is what you buy the Seacons for. He's a cool looking robot. I do like the chrome in particular, it really works. Colour scheme, pink and magenta, turquoise, a little bit of blue. It's a bit odd, but I guess it is kind of an aquamarine feel. More coral, I guess. You can imagine him walking around in the Caribbean underwater, and he doesn't look out of place. Yeah, it works as Piranacon. It doesn't really work as the individual Seacons, but let's face it, you're going to keep him as Piranacon, aren't you? It looks so much better than the others. Okay, so that is the commemorative edition of the Seacons in their combined form of Piranacon. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments below, click on the other links. Hey, why not subscribe? And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.